Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. My name is Josh Lilquist, and we are having a good time here in studio. A nice, cool, brisk day here. A little bit of snow on the ground. It's a beautiful day to be
Yeah,
talking about the stock
but the
market.
sun is shining, so you got to look at that as being a positive.
Yep, sun is shining, wind is blowing. What more can you ask for? And Al, we had a lot of people texting in for that free investing class that we do here locally. Congratulations to those of you that did get seats for that investing class. For those of you that missed that, you can text the word investing to the number 210-210 for 2 seats for an investing class at our local academies. Text the word investing to the number 210-210 right now. When you do that, you're going to receive a financial quick start kit just for getting set up. But also, there is some free stock picks in there. So make sure to pick that up when you get set up for this class. We'll get you a call. Make sure you find a date that works the best on your schedule. Text investing 210. So, Al, on that last segment, we were kind of talking through transferring that knowledge into skill. I want to continue that discussion here on this second segment here today. And then we talked a little bit about Tesla, their earnings. There was some good stuff in there. There was some bad stuff. It still went up. And the key there is to not really pay attention to the news. Know it's happening, but not react off of that. And that's why I was talking about there was a supply zone right on top of that. And it's making your decisions before price actually moves so you're not chasing the market. And that's what I want to talk about in this segment here is how do we transfer that knowledge into building the skill if you're looking for an income strategy? Because I think a lot of our listeners are they're working. I mean, a lot of people are working many hours per week right now, and their job isn't paying what they want it to pay, so they need extra. Because if you're looking to improve your wealth, it takes multiple sources to build that. Maybe some of it pays your bills. You got to have some fun, and then some of it to save to build for that future. So, Al, how do you help people build that knowledge and then transfer that into skill for an income strategy with the financial markets?
Well, I think it starts with identifying what the income strategies are and why people really need those, why it's important, not only for you while you're still working, while you're accumulating assets, but also when you go into retirement. And we know that the majority of the people in this country that are truly financially secure and stable and successful have multiple sources of income. Warren Buffett doesn't just have income from one company. He's got multiple companies, multiple sources of income, including one of the short-term income strategies, which is options. He makes about $8 billion a year trading in the options market. But it comes down to understanding what those assets are, and that's what we do. One of the great things about the Online Trading Academy is that it's a kind of a one-stop covering everything kind of educational facility. I mean, it doesn't make any difference whether you are looking for short-term income, building long-term wealth. That's where the skill building comes in. So in addition to teaching classes and providing that knowledge, it's also utilizing it. It's hands-on repetition of things that work. That's where you do the skill building, because you have to know when to use the knowledge that you have, when not to use it. All of those things are part of that skill building part of your financial life.
Yeah, you kind of reminded me of a story. Everybody has that one family member or that friend that talks about, this company did this and this company is doing that, and their earnings are great, and they sound really smart. They're very knowledgeable, but they're broke.
Yeah, right.
And everybody has that one friend, and that's we see that a lot. I mean, people are coming to the academy and they like to talk about it, but then you ask, okay, well, how are things going? What are you looking to improve? Yeah, I need help with consistency. I'm struggling there. So that's where knowing the knowledge is great, but then
There's only two things that are really important: is when to buy and when to sell. That person, that family member you're talking about, that might have been talking about a great company, it might be a great company, but it might not be the right time to buy it.
Correct.
And so that's what's the important thing. If you want to be successful, you want to be able to enter into a position when you have the greatest opportunity for it to work in your favor with a high enough profit potential to put your money into that particular investment.
Yeah, talk a little bit about a core strategy that's designed to do that.
Yeah, well, that's the important thing. You talked about news a while ago. people respond to news. That's when I started out with talking about the numbers that came out this morning, and we saw a big move up in the market.
Hmm.
That's typically emotional reaction by the public when they see those numbers.
Yeah.
When you listen to news, when you're listening to things on TV, you're reading things in an article or maybe a newsletter, that's already happened. That's old news. And what really happens is when something comes across in a news line, there's an immediate reaction. You can have a great earnings report for a company. You can see a big movement up, or a bad earnings report, see a big movement down. But typically, the reaction to news is short-lived. It might impact the price of something, but it is typically short-term, and it always gets back to what really is important, and that's that concept of supply and demand. It's buyers and sellers. When they're out of balance, when there's more buyers for a particular stock or investment, the price is going to go up. When there are more sellers for it, the price is going to go down. That's just kind of a fact that really can't be argued. And that's what our core strategy, our investment strategy does. It utilizes that imbalance between buyers and sellers to identify where the right price is to get into something and the right price to get out. But it has to be based on activity that's large enough in volume or dollars to move the price. It's not you or me buying or selling something.
Hmm.
It's Warren Buffett or Goldman Sachs or J.P. Morgan. They have the clout to do that. But one of the great things that we talk about it in these classes that you're going to be talking about, one of the things we talk about is how we can take advantage of a major disadvantage that those big firms have. And it just feeds right into our ability to take advantage of their activity.
Yeah, and where you find all that information, how do you identify supply and demand? It's all on a price chart. And as Al was talking about, price is going to be there, and it does not lie, because that's exactly what's happening. So there's no opinions. It's factual. And then you have to understand how supply and demand works. So that's the knowledge part. Building that skill is reading that chart and actually making the right decisions, whether to buy or sell, and when to do that at the right time. If you want to learn more about the strategy of supply and demand, 210 for 2 seats. So, Al, as I mentioned at the beginning of this segment here, that there's a lot of people that are working in their job just doesn't pay enough.
Right.
I mean, you're seeing layoffs now as well.
Huge.
So we're seeing a lot of people that are coming to the academy for 2 reasons. Since they're seeing layoffs, they want to have a backup plan before that happens. So that way, hopefully, you've built that skill and you had that income strategy before you get laid off. Hopefully it doesn't happen, because then if it doesn't happen, now you have 2 potential streams to build wealth.
Right.
What are some of the great assets that people are really using as an income strategy, say if they have a job and they want to be able to do that off hours, which
Sure.
would be maybe in the evening?
Yeah, well, first of all, what we're talking about is control. You can't control whether you get laid off or whether your company goes under. Those are things that are out of your control. What you can control, the recession, which looks more and more likely, that typically means higher unemployment. And the other thing that people need to be aware of is the impact of artificial intelligence and how that is going to change things. Robots, artificial intelligence. So your job, your career might not be as secure as you think. So how do you generate additional sources of income? There are short-term trading strategies in the markets that you can use, like the options market. I mentioned Warren Buffett uses that. The futures market, the foreign exchange market. Futures and Forex trade essentially 24 hours a day, so you have a lot of choices there. These may be things that you don't know about. If you know anything about them or if you've heard about them, it's mostly been through scare tactics that maybe Wall Street wants you to hear.
Well, let me ask you this, Al. A lot of people that are looking to get in the market, they sometimes don't because they feel they don't have enough money.
Correct.
So why are futures and Forex a potential option to be able to use less capital?
Yeah, futures, Forex, and options, one of the great advantages with those assets is it allows a lot more people to participate in higher priced investments. A lot of people can't invest in stocks like they might want to because the prices are so high.
It's expensive.
Years ago, it was very unusual for a stock to hit the $100 range before being split. But now we've seen stocks go up into the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 range before they actually go through a split. So that keeps a lot of people out of those markets. It also means stocks can have big moves up, but they can also have big moves down. So your risk can be really kind of multiplied you know, I guess multiplied would be the right word, with an equity position. But with these other assets we're talking about, you can have a small account. You maybe even an account, say this, maybe around like an example, if you use the Forex market, the foreign exchange market, which has about a 50-to-1 leverage,
Hmm.
which means at $2,000, you're more efficient. You're multiplying the buying power of your money. It's sort of like having a business. If you have a business and you have employees, and one person comes in every day, goes over in the corner and takes a nap and sleeps all day long, they're not productive for you. So
Is
look at
that why I had a hard time finding to do the show today?
that's why you had a hard time finding jobs. It was that sleeping thing that followed you around. But if look at your money the same way, look at each dollar as an employee. Do you want each dollar to do nothing for you, or do you want it to grow, to compound? And that's what these leveraged assets do. Futures, forex, and options are leveraged assets. They all trade with leverage, which means each dollar controls a multiple of it. Also, you can have a very strong risk management strategy for all three of those assets. So you have the opportunity to participate in a much higher investment. The return potential is much greater. And also you have the ability to protect what you have.
Yep, that's the great thing about when we do these investing classes, these 2-hour classes that'll give away seats to, is you're being introduced to these different techniques, the different concepts, the different assets that allow people, us as the public, to use less money compared to stocks. It's just you're more efficient with your dollars, and it'll go further in there. So that's why when you come to these classes, we're going to show you that. And it's a hands-on environment. We do these classes locally. We have, what do you think, Alec? 15 to 20 seats in there, and people can come in
Yep.
in a nice, comfortable atmosphere. We have great coffee. So, these classes, it's a lot of fun because it might be new to a lot of people, but also might be a refresher for some people that are just looking for consistency. So if you want to come to one of these classes, you can text in right now for 2 seats. When you do that, we're going to get you a call right away. Make sure we find a date that works for you, but you're also going to receive a text back right away with a couple date options. That way you can check your schedule and make sure that works for you. We do these classes during the week. We also have these on the weekends. So pretty much anybody can attend, even in the evenings. So you can text right now. Text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats. Text the word investing right now to the number 210 for 2 seats. Al, we got 2 more segments to go, and I feel like we just at the tip of the iceberg right now. There's a lot more to talk about. I want to continue talk strategy so that way their dollars hopefully last them longer in retirement. So I want to talk about that income strategy during retirement as well, but different probably in the next segment. And then the last segment, I want to get into how to protect those portfolios, retirement strategies, retirement growth strategies, so that way people can make smart investing decisions. Text the word investing right now to the number 210 for 2 seats for this investing class right here at our local academy. This is Josh and Al, investing and trading live. We'll be right back.